Hey, what's up, everyone? I wanted to talk a little bit about how to make gold in Archeage, and this video is kind of a hard video to make since making gold in Archeage is a little bit more special than other MMOs, such as like BDO and things like that, where it's pretty easy to understand how much gold you'll be making for each item. And the reason behind this is because Archeage is a very player-driven game, and what that specifically means, especially for gold making, is that the prices and the popular items and things like that is directly determined by the player base. Now, judging off of the Discord size and the forums on AA Classic and just the CBT and overall hype behind this game, the game should have a pretty healthy player base, should be around at least a couple thousand, if not at least 1,000 at the very least, especially considering just off the Discord size alone, which is amazing. And I want to show my thanks to the team behind the Archeage Classic for giving us this experience. So what does that mean for making gold? Well, that means the marketplace should be filled with a good amount of things, and the items that made you gold in the past should once again make you gold now. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and to start it off, I'll go ahead and show you one of the items that is for sure going to give you gold and doesn't depend on the market at all. And what that item is coin purses. Now, I don't have any coin purses on me, so let's go ahead and farm that up real quick. Alright, so we have a coin purse. As you can see, coin purses are pretty much just given to you from farming mobs. And what you do is you just go ahead and spend the labor. In this case, a Prince coin purse takes 10 labor. Spend the labor, and there you go. You get some silver, and that's pretty straightforward on how to make money. Coin purses are a very good early game source of generating gold. This is pretty much how most people will be generating a good amount of their silver and gold in the early stages of the game, since it's a guaranteed given amount. And not only that, but the mobs also have a chance to drop what's called crates, and in this case, in Aurora, you'll be getting a Princess crate. And Princess crates, or crates in general, are very good because they have a chance to drop what is called Archeum. Now, of course, there's like 3 different types. There's Sunlight, Moonlight, and Starlight. And what this basically means is weapon, armor, and accessory. These items are, of course, used straight for gear. So opening up the folio, you can see that these items are used specifically to create gear. And early game, people will be starting to level up their life skills. And for example, Moonlight Archeum Dust is used to create just craftsman's gear. And then once you rank up the levels, you see that the type of Archeum, it goes from dust to shard, and then from shard to crystal, and then from crystal to essence. Now, of course, it's very easy to get crystal and essence. You just right click the dust, and then a certain amount of dust, go ahead and gives you a shard. And then same thing with shards, a certain amount of shards give you a crystal, and a certain amount of crystals, when you right click, I believe it's just 5, gives you an essence. And there you go. Now, these alone sell for a good deal of money on the marketplace. And once again, of course, it takes labor. As you can see, it takes 20 labor to make 1 essence from 5 crystals. What does this mean? This basically means that coin purses are just an elite way to make money. Very easy, not complicated. Doesn't take much brain power. You're farming mobs anyways to level up and whatever else you're doing. And you just want to go ahead and open up those coin purses to get easy silver, and not only just easy liquid silver, you get this Archeum dust and shards and whatnot to sell on the market for even more money. Now, another thing I forgot to mention, along with coin purses, you will be getting these unidentified armors. So you want to just go ahead and open these up too. And the reason why I'm telling you to open them up is because you would just go ahead and grab an Evanstone, come to it, and dismantle it. And that will also give you Archeum Essence, this is also another way to get Archeum Essence. Now, of course, it depends on the amount of labor that it costs, and it might not be the best way to spend your labor. But nonetheless, it's pretty easy gold. You just right click something twice, not too hard. But that is another way to get gold. So another good item that I want to talk about a little bit that's pretty good in the early game and throughout the whole game really is well, it's 2 items. The first one is Dawn Lake Essence. Now, Dawn Lake Essence is very easily obtained. You just obtain it from basic fishing, and I'll go ahead and show you how you would go about doing that. You would first, of course, get and craft a fishing rod. There's a whole fishing quest line out there that starts in I forgot where it starts, but there's tons of resources online to see where the fishing starts. It's different for each continent, of course, so just go ahead and find an NPC. Go through the whole quest to get the fishing rod. You have to craft a few things. You have to use like bamboo and craft a few like little components, and then you get a fishing rod. But anyways, once you get the fishing rod, you have what's called basic fishing, or just fishing, and what they use is a worm, bait worms. And an easy way to get bait worms is right here. You spend your vocation badges that you'll be earning from just gathering stuff and life skilling in general. You just go ahead and plant these worm composts on your land, and that's how you initially get bait worms. And there's even a better way to get bait worms, which is called seed bundles. And seed bundles are pretty easy to make. You just need 10k farming, and then you just 10 of whatever seed, and then some of the bait worms that you would get from the worm compost, and that in turn also gives you bait worms back when you collect that. And not only that, it also gives you whatever you're farming at the time. So this is honestly, in my opinion, the better way to get bait worms. But of course, you need to actually farm the worm compost first before you start getting these bait worms. And also, I want to mention that I don't have a family in the beta, or in the CPT, sorry. But family quests give you vocation badges as well, and it's a pretty good source of vocation badges. So you don't have to really worry about that too much. This also shows that Blue Salt quests give you that, community center quests, daily quests. There's tons of ways to get vocation badges, so don't worry too much about where your vocation badges are coming from, because they're pretty easy to get. Now, of course, to get the Dawn Lake Essence, you would just fish. You'd spend a certain amount of labor, grab the fish, and let's say for some reason, somehow I got a fish. So I have a fish in my inventory. I would need a Blue Salt knife then to decompose the fish, and then that would give me a chance at getting Dawn Lake Essence. Now, the other item that pairs together with Dawn Lake Essence is, of course, paper. Paper's a little bit easier to get. You just need lumber, and you just break down the lumber at a whatever table this is. This will be a printing table. And of course, that leads to my next item, which is lumber. Surprise, surprise. But more specifically, I guess logs. Now, you get logs by chopping trees in the world. You can also plant trees on your own land. And this is by far one of the best gatherables in the early game. This and stone, of course, which I'll talk about next. But lumber is used in pretty much every single blueprint for like crafting things. As you can see, as a handicraft, used for like your instruments. It's used for all of your land. So if you're putting down an 8x8 or a 16x16, it needs lumber, and more specifically, it needs the lumber packs that you would end up crafting. And lumber packs are like, I think it's like 100 lumber per pack, something like that. Let's see, lumber pack. Yeah, so 100 packs will be 100 lumber would be a lumber pack, and that's a bunch of logs. So you'll pretty much, you'll be a Canadian. You'll be chopping down trees like crazy, man. So very good, of course, to sell on the marketplace to make early game gold. And the same with lumber, or sorry, not lumber, with stone. Same with stone. Stone packs. They're used for almost every single land, 8x8, 16x16, used in like boats, like merchant ships, galleons, clippers, using haulers, etc., etc., using everything. These are two of the most important materials to go ahead and collect. And of course, if you sell on the marketplace, good amount of money. This item is used throughout the whole game. You'll constantly be teleporting. Everybody will constantly be teleporting everywhere. Nobody wants to walk everywhere all the time. Not realistic. and they're pretty easy to make. I believe is just stone, the stone brick. Yeah, so 2 stone brick, 3 hereafter stones. Very easy, not complicated at all. Just go ahead and gather some stone, craft into stone brick, and then boom, hereafter stones. Should sell for a good amount of money. Not too insane, but nonetheless great for making money early game. Another really good way to make money, especially early, as you can see here in my quest tab, I am on the last of a quest line to get my 16x16. And everyone, and by everyone, I quite literally mean pretty much everyone. Maybe like 3% of the community wouldn't be doing this. I don't know why they wouldn't, but everyone will be doing this quest line. It comes right after your 8x8, wherever it starts in your respective continent. It's to get your 16x16, and it's a quest line of 3 quests. They're basically, you just craft these trade packs and you take them to where they need to go. Now, to craft these trade packs, let's take, for example, the Soulless Juice Concentrate. Very simple to make, medicinal powder, jujubes. And why am I talking about this? Well, if you make and sell medicinal powder on the marketplace and or jujubes on the marketplace, they'll sell for quite a bit of money at this point in the game because everybody will be trying to quick buy and do this quest as fast as possible. And if you make these, you'll be making quite a bit of money. Another thing is chopped produce. Here we go. Chopped produce is also pretty good early game because it also takes the it's also for one of the pack quests. I'll go ahead and try and look it up exactly what the packs are. I can only speak for the east side, obviously, since I am playing east side. I've never played west side once in my life in Archeage, so you'll have to look what it is for yourself. But I'll go ahead and show you the east side packs. Now, one of these packs is, I believe, was the Mahadevi elephant cookies. It takes bananas, some gilded dust, and chopped produce. Of course, if you sell bananas at the beginning of the game, will also be a good amount of money. And once again, chopped produce. And the other pack, I'm not too sure what the other pack was in the quest line. I think it was it the Tiger Spine Grape Jam? I think it was the Tiger Spine Grape Jam. So it was just, of course, grapes and some chopped produce. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And once again, chopped produce and medicinal powder would be something good to sell at the beginning of the game. Those items for those packs will absolutely sell for money. And pretty easy to get chopped produce. You just plant potatoes. You get the potatoes and you get a blue salt knife. You break it down into chopped produce. Very simple, not hard. Same thing with the medicinal powder. I think the medicinal powder was mushrooms. Yeah, so medicinal powder would be mushrooms and ginseng. More specifically, mushrooms, easier to come by. You just go to your general merchant, buy mushrooms. Same thing with potatoes. Break it down with a blue salt knife. You get medicinal powder. So those 2 items are very good to sell in the marketplace early game as well. Especially within the first, probably the first, week or so. It'll be selling for a higher price than usual. So go ahead and sell that. Generate some pretty good gold. Now, I want to revisit coin purses. This won't be an early game thing. I believe these items only come from Prince's coin purses, which those only come from, I believe, Aurora. And of course, Prince's crates, more specifically, since it's a higher chance to get stuff from crates. These are going to be your Archeum tree bundles, or tree saplings, and your braziers. I do not currently have a brazier. Let's go ahead and check the marketplace and see if there is one. Okay, none. This is directly related to Archeum Essence, and I forgot what the braziers were related to. I think they were sun points. I'll go ahead and show what those are. Sun point, moon point, and star points. And these are used to also make regrade scrolls. I'm not too sure where you get the points from. I think it was from the braziers. Don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, the braziers also sell for a good amount of money in the marketplace. You can sell these on the marketplace. They're not bound. But they also sell for a pretty good shop price. I wouldn't recommend selling to shop price ever, since by the time this comes out, people will need them. I would highly suggest planting them yourself when Aurora land comes out, or just selling them to the market if you can't be bothered, because it is going to be pretty hard to plant these before Castle Land comes out. And basically what that means is, I'll go ahead and show you. let's say you put your land in Diamond Shores. What this means is you'll go ahead and have to get the water and the logs from across the way. So like in Sun Gold or Calm Lands or something. I forgot where the water and the smoldering log bundles are at, but you go ahead and grab them here, take them to your ship, take it all the way back to your Diamond Shores land, and then go ahead and plant that. But it is a very good amount, or a very good way to get Archimessence, and you get quite a bit. And then of course you could sell it or use it depending on what you're doing. But pretty big hassle, so I would just recommend selling these in the market to people who are willing to go through that hassle. And eventually when the castle land opens up, you can decide if you want to do them for yourself. Oh, and I forgot to mention, before I go ahead and go to the second half of this video, we're going to go ahead and go back to fishing. It's not early game, that's why I forgot to mention it almost. But sports fishing. Sports fishing is also a static way to make money. Now, of course, you need decent proficiency, you need a fishing boat, and then you need to chum the water, and then there's a chance of PvP and losing all your money. That's kind of a thing in Archeage. Anything that can make you decent money is usually gated by PvP. What you would do is you would go to the fishing hook, you would turn into the fishing hook, and depending on the weight and size, I believe, the fish you turn in will be something like 20 gold, 11 gold, anything like that. So that's also a way to directly turn labor into liquid money or liquid gold. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit before I go ahead and move on to the next segment. Now on to the next item, and this one's a little bit more specific, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's an early game item. I'd say it's a little bit later, probably towards mid game. Nonetheless, you can still do it early game. And this item is charcoal stabilizers. Now, the way to get charcoal stabilizers, and I want to see if I can show this a little bit better by looking at trade info. Let's go ahead and check that. Well, I can't really show it too well, but basically what this means is you take it from one continent to another. So let's say you start out east side and you make like a Yenister pack, whatever pack you make, doesn't matter. And you take it to the west side into the turn in at Cinderstone or something like that. Now, when you turn in this pack, it will be giving you charcoal stabilizers as a payment. Now, there's a few things charcoal stabilizers used in, as you can see. It is used to make small seed oil, which then go ahead and crafts a bunch of stuff like armor for armor crafters. Another important item, fine leather, which is also used for armor and some other types of blueprints. It makes fine lumber, etc, etc. So this would be a very good material to get early to go ahead and sell in the marketplace. Now, of course, you can go a step further and craft into small seed oil, which will also net you some good money, but I would just highly suggest just selling it as the stabilizers, since it'll just be more in demand like that. You're not selling to these specific people. It's used in a lot more things. Now, I want to talk about another stabilizer, and that stabilizer is Dragon Essence Stabilizer. The way to get this stabilizer is from, you basically, once again, you craft a pack, whichever continent, doesn't matter. And in this case, you'll be taking it to Pirate Island, Archeage. And there's usually a trader there that spawns, but I think that one's just like for gold, so not the special trader. I'm not really sure about that one because I never actually did that content. But you would just go ahead and craft that, and you come and trade it in to Archeage, and you will be getting Dragon Essence Stabilizers instead. Now, once again, pretty good money. People will be buying these, especially to craft their propellers for their clippers and fishing boats and whatnot. Dragon Essence Stabilizer is more focused around, just as you can see, ship parts, but nonetheless, it's still pretty important since people will be wanting to craft these upgrades for their ship. Now, I wouldn't say it's early game gold making; it's more of a late game thing. But if you just so happen to be crafting packs or stealing packs at Pirate Island, go ahead and just turn it in. These sell for a pretty good, decent amount of money, from what I remember when I played the game. But not so much sure early game, but I'll just go ahead and put this in a gold making as well because it's still pretty good for gold. Now, everything I've talked about so far, it's pretty much, I want to say, there are static ways to make money. Save certain things like the chopped produce and the medicinal powder. That's kind of like an early game special thing, but things like archeum essence, lumber, stone brick, paper, Dawn Lake essence, and I want to say even charcoal stabilizer. Those are pretty much needed throughout the whole entire game, and they stay around a good healthy price. But of course in the early game they'll be priced a little bit higher than usual. Oh, and also hereafter stones as well is another thing I would consider a static way to make money. Now everything else that I'm about to talk about, and of course this includes the dragon essence stabilizer, since they're primarily just for ship things and people most likely won't be focusing on ship stuff in the early game part of Archeage, but everything else I'm going to talk about is pretty specific. And once again, a disclaimer for all this, even everything I'm talking about that is quote unquote static might change because once again, the market is decided by the player base and the player base alone. And let's go ahead and talk about some of these other things now. So coming into Folio, once again, we're taking a look at alchemy. I personally will be doing alchemy this time around in Archeage, and on top of the other things I plan on doing. But alchemy is kind of hit or miss, depending on the state of the marketplace. These potions might honestly just be better off buying straight from the marketplace than crafting yourself. Now, you have to go through a bunch of hurdles to finally make the good crafts in alchemy. Like, to start actually making the good potions. What was the good potions? Kraken's Might, which is most people will be buying. You need quite a bit invested into alchemy. Then the materials are obviously much easier, but you also need to craft the previous potion as well. But depending on the state of the market, these can either be really good to craft and sell for money, or they can be really bad. I'm just including these items just in case it is really good silver per labor ratio. And this could be a very lucrative way to make money. And of course, I'm kind of ruining it for myself just in case it is good, because I plan on doing this time. For no specific reason, I just hate having to buy pots constantly. You constantly run out of mana in this game, so mana pots are like insanely good to have. And of course, healing pots, when you finally actually start PvPing a lot in Archeage, really good to have as well. But that's one thing I wanted to talk about that could generate a good amount of income. Now, once again, pretty much gonna be giving this disclaimer for the rest of the video. This could be really bad money. You could end up losing money if you decide to do any of these items I'm talking about. I cannot stress that enough. If you are just curious about what for sure makes you money, just go back to the beginning of the video. That's all that matters, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about extra stuff. Now, the next thing, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about crafted gear, or just gear in general, because you can also sell your obsidian gear if you so wish. Once again, could be a hit or miss depending on a lot of factors. So you can see that these illustrious steel Ionad pretty much is locked behind this identifier. What does that mean? Well, they decided to also gate crafting through RNG. Just an Archeage things, or just Archeage things, sadly. Whatever. There's tons of different types of gear. There's Typhoon, Lightning, Squall, Desert, Flame, Gale, Earth, and this is for leather specifically. I don't know if it's called the same thing for the other gear pieces, but pretty sure it is, but whatever. There's only a certain amount of meta types of gear. Like, for example, I am wearing Flame gear for Dark Runner. Flame gear is decent, it gives you crit damage, it gives you attack. And I want to talk about, let's say you craft this Ionad gear, you open it up, and it's Ionad Earth leather gear. Now, you're probably going to be kind of sad. You're going to try and sell it for a little while, and it might not sell. So then what happens? Well, you end up probably breaking it down, and you kind of just wasted money. That's why I wanted to include this in the video because it's still really good to make money. People will still probably buy it. We have a smaller player base, most likely, than other iterations of Archeage, so you gotta kind of be careful how you spend your labor. You want to make sure you're spending it correctly, and you don't want to waste it, because then you just wasted opportunities to make so much gold. But I wanted to include this because things like Illustrious Mag, Ethereum Delphinad, when you break it down, it turns into mana wisps. I forgot where it starts turning into mana wisps. Do not quote me. But I believe it was at Magnificent at least. It might be Illustrious. I don't remember. It probably is Illustrious. But I don't want to give any like false information or whatever. So at some point, one of these rarities or tiers of gear, you start breaking it down and you get mana wisps. I don't know if any are in the marketplace. Okay, good. We have some in the marketplace still. Cool. These will always sell for a good amount of money since Obsidian's back in the game. So crafting gear is a decent way to make money, but once again, I put it in this half of the video because it's not a static way to just constantly make money. It's very RNG driven. You can make a lot of money, you can make a little bit of money. It varies. And of course, this goes without saying, but weapon making is also in this category, since of course you get the weapon mana wisps. And the same thing about the whole Illustrious through Ionad. It could be a bad craft. But yeah. Going back to trade packs, more specifically husbandry trade packs. And I want to see if I can bring this up somewhere. I don't remember if I can see this in the folio. So here we go. I can speak extensively on husbandry trade packs because I used to be a husbandry trade pack crafter in a previous version of Archeage, the original version of Archeage to be exact. But husbandry trade packs are back, better than ever. I believe that they said that once the trade pack is crafted, they won't actually expire this time. So you can just put it on your land once the trade pack is finished crafting, of course, and just go ahead and slap it down on your land and it's there forever. So that's always just a way you can just craft gold. I think husbandry trade packs are the best, better than regular trade packs in the folio, like fertilizer and stuff like that. I don't remember if fertilizer is a husbandry trade pack, but I know for sure larders are. They usually give the most gold. And I think we can go ahead and check that. Well, actually, no, you can't check that in game, but there's tons of spreadsheets out there that show you why larders are so good. But I highly suggest if you plan on doing trade packs, you become a husbandry guru and go ahead and make these larders. But I put it in this section of the video because, once again, these trade packs are gated behind PvP if you plan on trying to make the most money with them. And that would usually be doing things like cross-continent, or taking them to free during the gold trader, or taking them to Freeditch in general, which is Pirate Island. But very good money. You just need to invest heavily into husbandry. This is not an early game thing by any means. And not only just the larders in general, but as you can see, the ingredients. I think the most popular one when I was playing was the milk one. So you would just use milk and lemons to make the cheese larders. I think honey started catching on as well. Is just honey and hay, pretty easy ingredients. But selling these ingredients should also be pretty good money as well. Of course, even the cultivated ginseng and olives for salve, they should also be good money as well. But you want to wait a little bit to see what all the husbandry people are crafting. Just go ahead and look at all the lands and all the larders. And if you see a bunch of cheese, obviously you want to start selling milk and lemons. If you see honey, hay, and then if you see salve, of course, ginseng and olives. So pretty good way to make money if you don't want to actually do the trade packs. It's not insane. It's probably not even that great. Just a little bit of a profit. Because at this point in the game, you're trying to optimize your silver to labor ratio. And there's much better ways to do it than just selling the husbandry ingredients. But of course, like I said, the market's always different in every iteration of Archeage. And these ingredients might be priced differently depending on supply and demand. So just go ahead and take a look at that, see if it's worth your labor. You can do all the calculations yourself once the game is actually out. But nonetheless, it should still be a pretty good way to make money. Doing the larders, of course, and selling the larder ingredients. The next item I want to talk about is bundles. Now, bundles are also kind of hit or miss. Of course, you got to get the proficiency for it. You have to have the farmer's workstation, which not everybody would have if you didn't know how to get it. But this is kind of a hit or miss. This could be really good money. This could be really bad money because of the vocation. But of course, farming bundles, they give you bait worms, which a lot of people will be using to be getting their Dom-like essence to sell on the market or to use. And not only that, it gives you the item that you're using. So things like mushrooms to break down for medicinal powder, potatoes and stuff like that. Whatever breaks down into chopped produce. Specific items like thistle for alchemy crafters. It could be pretty good to craft bundles and list them on the market to sell. Or just planting the bundles on your land yourself and collecting all materials and selling those materials. But once again, determined by the market, hit or miss. Go ahead and look at the market when the game finally releases and determine if you want to do this to make money. But pretty good, something pretty good to have just in the back of your head, just in case it does end up becoming lucrative to make money. Now these next items, once again, depends on the market, but this could be pretty good generation of money to craft certain things like wind spirit leather. I think in tailoring it would be called cloud spun fabric, and I think there's one more in metalwork if I remember correctly. So what was it? It was like an ingot that was kind of insane that used other ingots to craft. Sturdy ingot. So what are these used for? These are used in specific, of course, in crafting gear, but more specifically, I wanted to talk about like haulers and ship parts. Let's see if I find that. All right, so here we go. Brought up the farm wagon. These specialty ingots and specialty like fabrics and leathers are usually used in some of these items to craft, like the hauler and stuff. So those can generate pretty good money. Like specifically for the hauler, I'll just go ahead and use the Sunridge ingot for example. This takes 10 sturdy ingots, 5 garden powder, and some rough polish. These usually sell for a pretty penny, especially at the beginning of the game when people are crafting haulers, or throughout the whole game if people want to craft a hauler. I'm not too sure how popular same constant trade packs will be, because that's usually what you use a hauler for. And I guess in general people usually want to grab a hauler for just to have, so should be pretty good money. Everybody should be aiming to grab a hauler just to have one, even just a regular farm wagon and not even the hauler that you make that has the 6-packs. But things like that, those sturdy ingots, I don't really remember what the leather and the fabric is used for, but I remember having to buy quite a bit of these when I played the game. So they're used for the Proven Warrior pieces, and I believe the fabric is also used for that as well. Yeah, so they're used for like the cloth pieces and stuff like that. Very important materials. And if you have the way to make these, they could sell for quite a bit of money in the auction house. Of course, it's in this segment of the video because supply and demand, blah blah blah. Pretty sure you heard it like a million times already. But nonetheless, should be selling for a pretty penny. Another thing I want to talk about is eco fuel. Now, once people actually get haulers, people will be buying eco fuel. It's just a given. Hay bales, bait worms, pretty easy. You can be selling those to give it to people who want to craft eco fuel, but for the most part, people will be just buying them from the marketplace, and specifically just the eco fuel. I don't know about this fertilizer. Oh, it's just to help crop go. Yeah, just the eco fuel. So As you can see, it just takes bait worms and hay bales, just sell those, or once again, take the extra step, craft it, and sell that. Now, I want to talk about cooking a little bit. Once again, this goes hand in hand with alchemy that I talked about earlier. It could be hit or miss, but if you decide to be a cook for some reason, just make sure you are spending the correct amount of labor per silver. And what that means is does making this item compare to, let's say, for example, opening a coin purse? Would that be a smarter decision? And just simple things like that. Would another profession be better for me since I just want to make money? But cooking could be pretty good. People will be needing health food, needing mana food, same as potions. And you would just go ahead and take a look at the marketplace once again and judge if it's worth your time. And for the last thing I want to talk about, it's very niche because once, like, it requires a lot of proficiency into construction. You'll pretty much not be making money for the most part throughout the whole game. There's not really anything that crafting and construction will like lead to like anything like insane. I mean, I guess you use these for your people like crafting land and stuff like that, like these wood beams and stuff like that, used to craft gazebos and whatever. So you could be making money from that, but honestly, I think it would be better just to sell lumber. You could sell unbound tax certs on the market eventually, and people will be buying these up. There's a lot of times people just some min-maxers will just like use their labor for like the best possible thing, and they don't have labor to craft tax certs. A lot of people do like decide to take like a week off of like grinding your labor, and then they would just spend like that whole week, or not the whole week, but like a day or so of labor just crafting bound tax certs. That's what I do personally. I usually dedicate like 1 or 2 days to just like, and in this case, since the labor pool is 10k, I'll just straight up dedicate 10k labor to crafting tax certs to pay for my land, so I don't have to worry about it. But there will be people buying tax certs. I also used to buy tax certs, even though I did that. Once they became a pretty good price, and it's pretty easy once you get to, I think this is famed. But yeah, once you get to like famed construction for some reason, RPing as a landlord, these will sell for a decent amount of money on the marketplace. Could be a pretty lucrative business because it just requires 300 labor. That's it, nothing else, and you get 5 to list on the marketplace. But once again, this one's a little bit harder to wait for because you need to get famed in construction. Not many people will be doing that probably. But this could be a decent way to make money. And it also depends on how many tax certs we get for free, right? So once again, and this is the last time I'm probably going to say it, that's why it's in this half of the video. It's not a guaranteed way to make money. That about wraps up everything that I consider as good money makers. Of course, I probably missed some things. There's even though I played Archeage for quite a bit of time, I want to say in total, of course not total playtime, but over the years, at least 5 years, I played Archeage. I played quite a bit of fresh start servers. I played Unchained, but I want to make sure that everyone knows that I only played Unchained for like a month after the whole Chichinga ordeal. I stopped, so I don't really know too much about Unchained. Other than that, it sucked. No shade to anybody who enjoyed Unchained. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you're watching this video coming from Unchained, I hope you stay and play this game, because this is probably going to be the best server and iteration of Archeage we have received, since it's pretty much Archeage's best times and best updates. But yeah, I think that about covers everything that makes gold. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. You probably won't, since you want to hide your money making ways. I've also hidden the one main way to make money, since I don't want to ruin the server. I'm pretty sure people will still be doing it, but I mean, I'll probably even do it a little bit as well. But not gonna lie, I don't think that should be a tip I should give, since I feel like that ruined the economy, and it should be kind of on a down low. But if you played the game a lot of times, you're probably gonna be doing it. And then even if you're just a new player, you'll probably see it happening like live. It'll be something related to the auction house. That's like the only tip I'm gonna give towards it. But yeah, this pretty much focus on the static ways to make money in Archeage. They might not be the best ways, but they're the guaranteed ways to making money. So I kind of wanted to, the reason I made the second half of the video is just to give you more options on how to make money and tell you a little bit in my experience what I saw making people money in around these versions of Archeage. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a dislike, subscribe, and hope you guys have a great day. Take it easy. Peace out.